Pokémon is a series not known for its difficulty. That's why gameplay styles like nuzlocke have been created, just add a little bit of challenge to what many people consider too easy. But what if it was taken just a step further? What if every single Pokémon, vending machine, random NPC, you name it, refused to sell me anything, meaning that I would never be able to purchase anything with money? This means that I can only acquire healing items or Pokeballs through items strewn across the region. And again, normal Nuzlocke rules apply. You can only catch the first encounter in each route, if a Pokemon faints, it's dead, and all Pokemon must be nicknamed. There's a few other rules I applied, like the duplicates and species clause, but they never really came into effect. Before we start, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. It's free, it really helps out the channel, and you can always change your mind later. And if you enjoyed the video, follow me on Twitch at Master of Tartarus, so you can catch me doing these challenges live. Without further ado, let's get started. The first decision I had to make was which starter to pick. In my previous run, which I lost because this Munna lived on 1 HP, I chose Oshawott. One of my viewers recommended Tepig, however, so I took their advice. I got through the preliminary battles pretty easily and went on to see my first encounter. Damn it, it's a Patrat, okay. So obviously this is disappointing, not only because it's a Patrat, but also because it isn't Lillipup. Lillipup has the ability Pickup, which would have been a great way to get items in a world that refuses to sell me any. You may have noticed I also killed the Patrat instead of catching it, which might seem like an odd choice in a Nuzlocke, but this is also important since I need to conserve balls for an encounter that would end up being more useful later on. Professor Juniper showed me around the Pokemon Center and presented me with the Pokemon I couldn't use just to rub it in my face. I listened to Ghetsis' unhinged rant and beat up the schizophrenic kid's Pokemon and went on my way. I tried for an encounter on the next route and... okay, that's fine, I guess. Damn it. When I got to the next town, I did away with Bianca's team. I headed to the Dream Yard and picked up a free Pokemon in Pansage. I took out Charon's Pokemon because he was being a nerd and went to challenge the gym. The Persona 3 protagonist decided to challenge me, and luckily the battle wasn't too hard. First badge, acquired. Team Plasma started bullying this Munna, and honestly, I didn't blame them. I reluctantly beat them both. They got reprimanded or something by Ghetsis. I didn't really understand what was happening here. And Munna's mother came to the rescue after all the rescue work had been done. I started to head to my next encounter, and Charon decided to battle me again. At this point, he was getting pretty tiring to deal with, and I got through his team pretty easily. Bianca tells us about this crying child, and Charon cared more than I did about her distress, so he told me to go fight Team Plasma in this cave. Before that, I wanted to grab this item, and I ended up accidentally getting an encounter. This is the fourth route in a row in which we've gotten a Patrat. At this point, I was getting pretty sick of the Patrat, so I just decided to finally catch this one, since I had enough balls to the point where I could afford just catching it in order to avoid it later. I went into the cave, careful not to get an encounter, and beat the grunts with Charon. Here's where I need to talk about one of the most broken items in a Nuzlocke, the Repel. The Repel has two important uses, the first of which I utilized here. By using the Repel, I was able to avoid encounters until I saw Dustcloud, which guarantees a Drillbur encounter. I got my Drillbur, moved on to the next town, and grabbed an encounter from the route that's next to the town, which ended up being a Pidove. My Tepig evolved into a Pignite, and I decided to try and grind up my Drillbur against Autonose. Oh my god. Holy. Oh my god. Oh my god. I decided to just leave and go to the next gym. After some easy trainer battles in the gym, I got a bit overconfident going into the gym, thinking my Pignite would just sweep Lino's team. The Herdier I beat without a problem, but then... I'm not taking any chances here, I'm just gonna run first. Okay, yeah, no, I win. I think. And he used Hypnosis, and he got Hypnosis off. Okay, maybe there is some cause for concern. Oh, there's something Snorkel, right? Okay, never mind, Snorkel's leaving. Don't use Retaliate again. Stop using that. I just need one turn where he doesn't use that. Crunch. No! Okay, this is... I know what I need to do. Damn it. God, that's really frustrating. Goodbye, balls. Okay, I need you to wake up right now. I need you to wake up right now. gonna have to potion up again. God, I really don't like that. If he uses a retaliate, I lose. Okay, we're all good. It's fine. Losing 2 of my Pokemon was tough, but I could deal with these 2 dying since I didn't intend on using them in the end anyway. I caught a Sewaddle and evolved it as quickly as possible to make it usable. I then had to fight Team Plasma because they decided to commit grand larceny. I didn't expect this to be too much of an issue. Team Plasma grunts usually use weaker Pokemon, like Purloins and Patrats, so this should be pretty easy. Well, this can just be chalked up to me behaving stupidly, and you'll see a lot of that in this run. I got the Dragon Skull back from Team Plasma and moved on to Castelia City. I ran to the desert and found a Darumaka, which I figured could be a good catch in the case of my starter dying. Okay, I'm leaving. No. Yeah, no, it's fine. I don't need that. So, I couldn't get the Darumaka, but it didn't matter that much, since I still have my Pignite. I listened to the uniformed men talk about how they were trying to liberate the world, and I went out to fight Berg. Before that, I grabbed the Eviolite, just in case. I got through Berg's gym, and then swept through Berg's entire team with my Pignite. At this point, I started to get pretty confident. Easily getting through a whole gym like that started to boost my ego, as there was clearly nothing that could stop me now, right? Bianca and Sharon challenged me back to back. While Sharon's Pidove seemed like it was going to cause an issue, I was able to get through this fight pretty easily because he's still a nerd. I made my way over to the desert resort, and I found a Sandile. Not only is Sandile great for the next gym, kind of, but he's also a great Pokemon in general, as he gets the ability Intimidate. I went further into the desert resort and went into the Relic Castle, where I found a Yamask. I also grabbed the cover fossil from a lady in the Relic Castle, as I could use that to get a Tirtuga. I went on Route 5 and grabbed a Trubbish there too. I wasn't too ecstatic about that encounter, but it did mean for the first time I had a full team of 6. I attempted to challenge Elisa, but the schizophrenic kid stopped me and really wanted to go on a date on the Ferris wheel. I was a bit hesitant, but he was pretty pushy, so I just went along with it. It was here that he told me that he was the leader of the cult that I kept running into. I tried to leave, but he just won't let me. He forced me into a battle I thought I could do pretty easily. After having no issue with Sandile and Scraggy, I thought that was the case. But then, he sent out Sigilyph. I got careless with my switch in, sending in Gucci the Swatloon, before realizing that was a mistake, as Sigilyph is part flying. I sent out Yamask, and Sigilyph hit an air cutter, doing pretty big damage. I sent out K-Roll to Sandile, thinking I could just bite it and finish the battle, but Sigilyph's air cutter crit, and took out Sandile in one hit. Here, I started to get a bit panicked. 3 out of my 5 remaining Pokemon were weak to air cutter, and one of mine that wasn't had lost a ton of its HP. With him being what seemed to be my only option left, I sent out Febreze9 to take out the Sigilyph, and I realized a bit too late that the Sigilyph had Psybeam. With no other option left, I sent out Pignite. The Sigilyph surprisingly used Tailwind the first turn, which allowed me to kill it. I got rid of the Darumaka and ran to the Pokemon Center to pay respects to our fallen comrades. Losing Sandile really hurt, since I was relying on it to be my ground type for the rest of the run after Drillbur died, and it also died right before the gym was supposed to shine in. To make up for this, I turned the cover fossil from earlier into Raphael the Tirtuga and evolved Gucci into a Leavanny. Looking at my team, I felt pretty good. Sure, it wasn't perfect, but it could turn into a really great team by the end of this run. Well, that wasn't until I pre-screened Elisa's team. Elisa has 2 Emolgas and a Zebstrika, both with a wide variety of moves. Her Emolgas could do big damage to my entire team, excluding Yamask since Pursuit would only do big damage if I switched him out. But I wasn't going to be dumb enough to forget that. I decided to put off planning for her Emolgas to plan for her Zebstrika. But even there, the only Pokemon that I had to beat her were Pignite and Yamask, as her Zebstrika knew Flame Charge, which did 4 times damage against Gucci. Finally, I came up with a plan. I was going to use my Yamask to disable the Emolga's Electric-type moves, and then send in Raphael to kill both of them, and use Pignite to finish it off. I wanted to see how effective the strategy was, so I tried it on the trainer right before her that had an Emolga. Can you not, please? I'm just gonna Nightshade. Okay, maybe. I'm just gonna hope that you don't know any flying moves. Oh my god. With Yamask dead, I had no real strategy going into this gym. Although the strategy I came up with wouldn't have even worked, since the electric moves I was going to try and disable were Volt Switches. Whoops. My final decision here was that I was going to put the Eviolite I had acquired earlier on Tirtuga and lead with it, hoping that it wouldn't die from a Volt Switch. I went into the battle with 0 hopes of winning. Immediately the Emolga Volt switched on Raphael, and I was able to do pretty good damage to the second one. But there was an issue. I couldn't get another one off because I wouldn't be faster than the Emolga. I knew that the Emolga was going to Volt Switch, so I switched into Pignite and tanked the Volt Switch. I thought it would use Aerial Ace, but it didn't, allowing me to kill the first Emolga. The second Emolga started to become an issue because now the volt switches were between it and Substrika. In a moment of sheer stupidity, I decided to arm thrust the Substrika when it was out, not realizing it would just volt switch again. Not only did I do basically no damage to the Emolga, but I was also paralyzed due to the ability Static. I decided to switch into Pansage to get some chip damage off on the Emolga before it ultimately died to an Aerial Ace. I switched into Pignite and killed the Emolga with a few more flame charges. But I noticed that even with the speed boosts I was getting, I still wasn't faster due to the paralysis. Elisa sent out her Substrika, and I knew that I would have to heal Pignite and then get 2 flame charges off back to back in order to win the battle. The Substrika was faster than me at first, but I got another speed boost off the flame charge I just used. I was hoping that I could possibly be faster, but alas, the paralysis meant that I wasn't. Substrika killed Pignite, meaning that the run was over, and I had to start all over again from the drawing board. That's it. I don't even know, because I was static, that's why. I can protect just to stall it out for a little bit longer. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Against what I thought was possible, Gucci actually survived a Flame Charge, which was likely due to Leavanny's decent defense stats and Flame Charge not getting a same tag attack bonus from Substrika. Either way, I was safe. I was sad that Pignite and Pansage had to die, as they were my first 2 Pokemon, but their sacrifices will not be in vain. This run will go on. That last battle really stretches no money thing to the limits, as I've now run out of healing items and have to scrounge around for more. After going through that trauma, Charon fought me again, lost to my team of 2 Pokemon, and then helped me beat up 2 children as consolation. Getting to Driftville City means that I got another encounter, which turned out to be a Deerling. I was kind of disappointed since I already had a Grass type, but adding Bambi to the team was still a relief. I grabbed Cream the Vanillite and went into Cold Storage only to find a call from earlier hiding from the police. There's no hiding in Texas, however, as Clay apprehended them. There does seem to be escaping in Texas, so they got away without a hassle. After fighting the previous 4 gym leaders, I started to get scared of what Clay might do, even though every member of my team is super effective against his Pokemon. As it turns out, I really had nothing to worry about, since my team destroyed his, but I still remained paranoid for the long part of this run. Bianca challenged me, lost, cried about her daddy issues or something, and left. I went into Chargestone Cave, hoping for a Joltik or Tynamo since I need an electric type for Skyla's gym, but got a Boldore instead. But this turned out not to be such an issue. However, Chargestone Cave is a pain to get through, and it let me know that it wasn't going down without a one-hit KO on Gucci due to me being careless. This was the first death that really hurt. After what felt like a miracle on Elisa's gym, I wanted to take Gucci to the end, but apparently it wasn't in the stars. It's okay though, because she'll live on through Raphael, who ended up feeling like my starter for the rest of the run. After getting through Chargestone Cave, the green-haired kid kept wanting to talk to me about the voices he kept hearing, but I was not having it after the last battle we had. Afterward, I caught a Fungus and Wisp the Litwick, who I knew would be very useful as a Chandelure. Before I fought Skylo though, I knew that Boulder wasn't going to be very useful in the grand scheme of things. Fortunately, I also knew that in the city, I could trade him for a Pokemon that was very useful, which is how I ended up with my Emolga, Mini Pete, as opposed to Large Pete, I guess. I evolved Bambi and headed to the next gym, which I got through surprisingly easily because of Mini Pete. Thanks, little guy. With access to both Surf and Fly, I backtracked to the Mistralton Cave, where I could get another encounter. This is where the second main use of a Repel came into play. There are 3 Pokemon you can obtain, being Boldore, Woobat, and Axew, with my first choice being Axew. Since I already caught a Boldore, this means that I can't get another one due to the duplicate clause. However, Woobat still has a 30% chance of being my encounter, with Axew being a 20% chance. Well, that is until we start using Repels. Since the maximum level of Woobat can spawn at is 30, and the maximum level that a Boulder and Axew can spawn at is 31, I can effectively force my encounter to be an Axew by just repelling when I have a level 31 Pokemon in my party. I grabbed Blade the Axew without even encountering a Boldore, and involved Raphael and Cream, and caught Bjorn in Twist Mountain. As a side note, I'm pretty sure that if I wasn't accidentally in winter, this would have been a major pain to navigate, but I was able to just skip to the end. I then involved Blade before heading on into the Icarus City gym. Since Wisp still wasn't strong enough, I decided to rely on Raphael for this battle. Ice-type Pokemon are generally pretty weak, so I was able to smack down his entire team without losing too many healing items in the process. With 3 gyms being a cakewalk, it seemed like I'd forgotten about the issues with having an ego that's a bit too big. Once I evolved Wisp into a Lampent, there's no reason for me to keep it as one, so I wanted to evolve it as soon as possible. After searching around in the sand for a little bit in the desert resort, I finally found a Firestone. Now all that's left is to evolve my... Oh, turns out that you evolve Lampent with a Duskstone, which means scouring Smallant Cave for one. Hopefully, all this effort was for something. While I was in Smallant Cave, I explored for a little bit, and then remembered that there's a top floor known by the mysterious name of the Guidance Chamber, and we'll get back to that later. I finally got my Chandelure and headed into Dragon Spiral Tower, where the cult started defacing what seemed to be a religious site. I could also get an encounter here, and I find a Golett, which is exactly what I wanted. All I need to do now is catch it. How am I gonna weaken this thing? Oh! Well, there's our encounter, ladies and gentlemen. I got to the top of the tower, where I saw the kid from earlier talking to a giant dragon, who he rode off onto the sunset on. Apparently, I had to head over to the Relic Castle and clear out the area, so I grabbed a Sunfisk and did so, and headed over to the Nacrane City Museum to grab this white orb. Bianca challenged me for one last time, and it went as expected. Ghetsis told me about his love for Naruto and how he has 3 guys in cosplay who he does every order, and I try not to judge, but this felt a little weird to me. Then he gave another unhinged rant in Opposite City, and it was at this point where I decided that I don't approve of this cult. I grabbed Astra the Gothrita and headed into the gym, where I didn't realize the horrors of what awaited me. Now, I haven't played the original games as much as the sequel, but good god do I hate the original Opposite Gym. Not only is it hard to leave, which I have to do if I want to heal in between battles, but it's also just super long and annoying. I decided to bring Bjorn as my main damage dealer for this gym, since I knew I was going to be mainly seeing dragon types in the dragon type gym. I got through a few trainers pretty well with Bjorn, but then... Okay. Oh my god. Well, that's what backup Pokemon are for. A miss followed by a critical hit was just unfortunate. Hopefully an unexpected move getting a critical hit won't happen again. Why? Yeah, that hurt. At this point, I was just getting tired of running back and forth from the gym to the Pokemon Center because you had to solve the puzzles again after re-entering. Did I mention how much I hate this gym? Instead, I tried getting to the gym without healing, nor going back to create a better plan, since I thought I was all done with the trainers. Boy, was I wrong. Oh my god! 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 I thought that was it. I thought that was it. I'm going to lose all my Pokemon right here. Oh my god. It lived on the slightest sliver of HP. At this point, I thought the run was over. 2 Dragon Dances on this thing meant something was going to die, especially since my team wasn't healed. This is where a tough decision needed to be made. Someone on my team was going to die. I sacrificed Bambi so that Raphael could finish it off. Turns out, I should have called Sawsbuck Bambi's mom. Thankfully, that was the last trainer before the gym. Not thankfully, I still had to deal with Drayden. After getting through those last 3 battles, I was terrified. I lost Bjorn, who I was relying on to beat his Pokemon, and Wisp, my heavy hitter, was also dead. I planned forever as to what the perfect strategy could be, in order to not lose everything. I added a few Pokemon to my team, evolved Astra and Goomba, and decided on this plan. Have Raphael defeat his first Fracture, and hope Cream could successfully outspeed his Draudigan and Haxorus. And this plan, well, worked perfectly. It's kind of sad that the gym trainers were harder than Drayden himself, but at this point I wasn't complaining. It was now time for me to create the team that I wanted to take into the Elite Four. I evolved Cream and Blade, grabbed some TMs, and headed to get my final 3 Pokemon. Now, in Unova, you can actually get 3 legendary Pokemon before the Pokemon League. I decided I would grab 2 of them, Cobalion and Virizion, as a Steel-type Pokemon would help immensely, and Virizion would act as some sort of replacement for Bambi. I headed to the Guidance Chamber to catch General the Cobalion, and then to Pinwheel Forest to Master Ball Verizon the Virizion. To catch my final Pokemon before the Pokemon League, I headed to Route 10. I originally thought nothing here would be useful, but then I got my encounter, a Vullaby. I realized that Mandibuzz could actually cover for the weak points on my team, namely Caitlyn and Chantal. Now, Gen 5 is actually stupid with its evolution levels, so I had to bend my rules around for a level cap to get Mandibuzz, but I was eventually able to evolve Adrian into her final form. I was sad I'd be leaving Minipete behind since he helped me so much, but at least he wouldn't face the risk of dying in the Elite Four. After getting through the rest of Route 10 and Victory Road without a hitch, it was time to face the final battles. Now, the Elite Four in this region does a damn good job at covering their weaknesses. Marshall, for example, who you would expect to be able to take out with a Flying-type Pokemon, has that covered too, as he has a Rock-type move on all of his Pokemon. The other weakness for his team, Psychic, is also covered by 2 of his Pokemon. I ended up starting with Astra for this battle to take out his Throw, and then switching into Blade and Dragon Dancing, and swept his whole team, save for a dire moment with his Conkeldurr. I took on Caitlyn next, leading with Mandibus. While Adrian took out the Reuniclus, it did some good damage on Adrian due to her Thunder, so I switched out to Raphael for the Sigilid, who I took out pretty easily with a Rock Slap. For the Gothtail, I switched out into Blade, Dragon Dance, and then took it out. I used Blade again to take out her Mershana, and I finished what I thought were going to be the most difficult battles. I went to fight Chantal, who turned out to cause a lot more trouble than I thought she would. I led with Raphael, since Adrian was too weak to risk using at this point. I was able to take out the Pythagoras, but not without getting burned. For her Jellicent, I planned to use Verizon, but I neglected to realize one thing: Cursed Body, which has a 30% chance to disable a move used to attack the Pokemon with Cursed Body. After I used Giga Drain, I was forbidden from using it again for another 4 turns. This was especially an issue since the only other moves on Verizon were Normal and Fighting, ineffective against Ghost types. I decided to switch into General and try to kill it with an Iron Head, and I got one off, but Cursed Body activated again, disabling my only move that could attack it on General. I switched back into Verizon, and Chantal used a full restore, meaning I would have to weaken it all over again. I used Giga Drain again, but Cursed Body activated again. I switched out into General and back in Verizon and used Giga Drain, finally killing the Jellicent, but not before getting affected by Cursed Body again. By the way, the chance of Cursed Body activating all 4 times is less than 1%. But I guess it's fine since I ended up switching out Verizon for Raphael when Chantal sent out her Chandelure. Now, I expected to use Surf and kill the Chandelure, but that isn't what happened. Instead, it moved first, used Shadow Ball, and got a critical hit, killing Raphael. I was crushed by this, but I needed to finish the battle first. Now, the main issue I faced was that all of my Pokemon were already weak, so this Chandelure started to seem like a problem. Well, all of my Pokemon except for Astra, who's weak to Shadow Ball, but was able to survive a Shadow Ball, and with the Sculpins I gave her earlier, got a critical hit, killing the... Well, I guess I can't be that lucky. I tried to do the same thing again since we both healed up on the next turn, but I didn't get a crit the next time. I switched into Blade, who almost died to a Fire Blast, and bulldozed the Chandelure, killing it. Luckily, Verizon took out our Golurk with ease. With that, I just had Grimsley left. He ended up being the easiest one, with General and Verizon taking turns killing his Pokemon. It was now time to beat the champion, who's already been defeated by N, who then decides that being champion now allows him to destroy and deface private property, and reveals that he's been building a playhouse underneath the league for God knows how long. Before I challenge him, I have a little bit of team building to do, since Raphael has just died. I put him to rest and put Cream on the team. Now, I had a bit of an issue. After going through Cobalion, Virizion, and Vullaby, I had run out of balls, and I needed to catch Reshiram for the story to progress. It seemed like I was at an impasse, since I need to go to the Pokemon and actually buy a ball, but thankfully, a Team Plasma Grunt was nice enough to give me an Ultra Ball. It was here that Ghetsis revealed that his cult was actually not for what he said his cult was for, and it was only to benefit himself, which is just something you never see in cults nowadays. Before I face N and finish the run, it turns out that the orb I had earlier contained Reshiram inside of it. Not asking any questions of how he fit in there, I caught him, replaced Blade with Angelo, and fought N for the last time. N led with Zekrom and I led with Angelo. Surprisingly, Zekrom with N has no Dragon-type moves, so I beat it pretty easily. I beat his Caracosta with Verizon and then Vanilluxe with General. N sent out what I thought was a clean claim, so I stayed in with General, only to learn that it was a Zoroark with Focus Blast. It moved first, landed the Focus Blast, and killed General in one hit. I killed it with Verizon, and N sent out his second to last Pokemon, Archeops. Now, I have this preconceived notion in my mind that Archeops is utter trash, and for the most part it is, because of his ability to Fetus, which only activates below 50% HP. I forgot about the reason why I consider it trash though, and it ended up killing Cream with a Stone Edge. I sent out Angelo, that same story. It was at this point where I started getting worried that I was going to lose the run here, at the final battle. I decided to switch in Adrian, but it died too. Finally, in a last-ditch attempt, I sent in Astra to get a quick Psychic off to enable the Fetus, and then was able to heal up and finish it. After all this, I sent out Verizon to kill his Klinklang to finally end the run. I mean, there was this Ghetsis fight, but healed up on my Pokemon, so I didn't really know how to treat it, so I decided to pretend that it never happened. And with that, I became the first person to finish Pokemon Black without spending any money, as far as I know, at least because I looked up this challenge on YouTube and nobody had done it yet, so I'm claiming to be the first. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend this Nuzlocke to anyone who already chooses not to use items in battle during their Nuzlockes. It really ended up being a huge pain since I was constantly running back and forth to the Pokemon Center in the middle of gyms and caused way more stress than a normal Nuzlocke. But hey, at least I can see that I've done it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to help out the channel, as I'd like to do more of these challenges in the future. If you want to see me do stuff like this live, check me out on Twitch at Master of Tartarus. Again, I'm Master of Shadow, and thank you so much for watching.